Hunt for the Tate killer centers in Canada. Los Angeles. The search for a solution to the bizarre killings of actress Sharon Tate and 4 other persons centered today in Canada. Police in Vancouver said they'd been asked to watch for 4 young persons wanted by Los Angeles police for questioning. They said the Royal Canadian Mounted Police reported the men might be headed toward Edmonton, Alta. Los Angeles police would not comment on the report, and Canadian authorities did not elaborate on it. Meanwhile, 2 Universities of Southern California faculty experts on criminal mentality suggested that whoever committed the 5 slayings, August 9th, might have created a ritualistic scene to mislead police. An American flag was draped over the back of a sofa in the $200,000 house in the Bel Air rented by Miss Tate and her movie director husband Roman Polanski. White nylon cord hung over a ceiling beam joined Miss Tate and another victim, Jay Sebring. His head was hidden by a black hood. Pig was written in blood on the door. The victims had been stabbed and shot. I think it should be pointed out that this could be the work of a very cunning person, said one of the university experts. The killer was a little too methodical. The faculty members, interviewed separately, asked their names not be disclosed. One is a psychologist and one a psychiatrist. The killer said one of the experts might have used the hood and ropes, inflicted the multiple wounds to throw off police. Killed with the honey blonde Miss Tate, 26, was Sebring, 26, a hairdresser, who was her former boyfriend. Wojciech Frokowski, 37, a Polish writer. Abigail Folger, 26, a San Francisco socialite. And Stephen Parent, 18, a friend of the estate caretaker. The fact that Miss Tate and Sebring were tied together with a rope indicates the killer was at least aware of the former relationship, said the psychiatrist. The experts agreed that whoever killed the 5 was probably a young man with a strong need to express power over others, perhaps acting from motives of jealousy and revenge. And frustratingly, a couple of lines of this article are lost, but they've got the other bit here. Right, Frokowski, 37, and Abigail Folger, 26, 2 of the victims. The Frokowski friend who told police possible suspects, one of them a Hollywood actor, is not known to have mentioned the names of Harrigan or his purported travelling companions. Police would not say how their names came into the case. The men sought in Canada were described in the police broadcast as hippie narcotic type. Named as travelling with Harrigan were 1. Charles Tacott, age unknown, no further description is available. Harris or Harrison Dawson, 26, 5'10", 160 pounds, Caucasian with light brown hair and green eyes. William Doyle, 26 to 28, 5'8", 165 pounds, with brown hair and eyes. The Want broadcast on Harrigan said he was 5'7", with red, curly hair, freckles, and large prominent teeth. Canadian authorities said a search was underway for him in the vicinity of Edmonton, Alta, the Canadian province adjoining to British Columbia, on the east. There was no indication what made police believe he was headed in that direction. LA police silent. Los Angeles police continued their refusal to release information about the case. They asked Canadian authorities to hunt for Harrigan and his 3 companions without putting out an all-points bulletin, either in the Southland or United States. The RCMP also declined to give further details of the manhunt in Canada. What is known of the pursuit came from the RCMP bulletin. The bulletin informed Canadian law officers, if located, advise immediately. Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Vancouver Subdivision. There was no indication how the men entered Canada, but the bulletin was dated August 14th, long enough after the murders for them to have driven there from the Los Angeles area. Police in Edmonton said they had inquiries about the suspect from the LAPD. Vancouver has been described as the major illicit narcotics marketplace in Canada, with large numbers of young people gathered on the beaches and in the Skid Row section, providing a profitable clientele. Rich young Canadians mingle there with vagabond US hippie types who left San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury when the crime rate there soared. There are 3,200 known addicts in Canada, the Vancouver Authority reported, and 2,000 are in the Vancouver area. However, Canadian authorities said they had no, and bits lost. The RCMP bulletin was considered, there's some bits lost there again. Links in the Vancouver narcotics underworld. Harrigan is the first person listed by the police suspect in the case since last Monday of William E. Garrettson, the 15-year-old caretaker, 15, he was older than that, wasn't he, at the Tate Polanski home. Police said the youth was arrested because he was the only survivor of the murders at the secluded estate of the actress and her director husband, Garretson, who has returned to his home in Lancaster, Ohio, told the Times by telephone Sunday that he did not know any of the four men mentioned in the RCMP bulletin. Killed with Miss Tate, Frykowski, and Miss Folger were Hollywood hairstylist Joe Sebring, 35, and 18-year-old Stephen Parent, an acquaintance of Garretson. The 26-year-old actress had been in Europe until a month ago, when she returned to the home to await the birth of her first child. Polanski, who had asked Frykowski to care for the home while they were away, remained in Europe and was in London when he learned of the crime. Tate partygoer discounts right link, as in religious right, R-I-T-E. Thomas Stephen Harrigan, the second person to be arrested and questioned in the Sharon Tate murders and released, says he knows of no occult activities among her friends. The almost ritualistic nature of the grisly slayings of Miss Tate and four other persons at her secluded estate has led to speculations that the murders were part of some strange religious rite. Harrigan, 27, told newsmen he attended a party at the Benedict Canyon home the night of Thursday, August the 7th, the day before the murders, but spent the next night in Manhattan Beach drinking beer with friends. Harrigan, a native of Canada who attended school in Ottawa, was sought in a bulletin issued by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police that said he was wanted for murder and was travelling with three narcotics hippie types. Harrigan said he heard about the bulletin Sunday night and surrendered Monday morning. Los Angeles police questioned him for 3 hours and then released him. Harrigan was not booked or charged. He said he doesn't use drugs, as implied in the bulletin. His attorney, Paul Caruso, described him as an old-fashioned beer-drinking Irishman. Harrigan said he had known Wojtek Frykowski, one of the victims, for 8 months, and known Abigail Folger, another victim, for about 5 months. The other victims were Joe Sebring and Stephen Parent. Police said they were no longer seeking the other three men named in the Canadian bulletin. They are friends of Harrigan, but he said they all were out of the state the night of the slayings. Right. Tate case victim on a trip. And this is from the 22nd of August, 1969. Los Angeles, UPI. Wojtek Frykowski, they spell his name Frokowski, slain with four other persons at the estate of actress Sharon Tate, was experimenting with the hallucinogenic drug mescaline when he was murdered, a close friend believes. Thomas Michael Harrigan said he saw Frykowski the day before the macabre murders, and the Polish immigrant told him that he was on the fifth day of an 8-day mescaline trip. Mescaline produces hallucinations similar to the more potent LSD and occurs naturally in the cactus. Buttons chewed by some American and Mexican Indians in tribal religious rites. Harrigan said that Joe Sebring, when the next night would be one of the 5 slain, was sitting in a chair with his head tilted to one side, as though he were watching a movie only he could see. He said Miss Tate was not high and seemed unaware of the condition of Frykowski and Sebring, as though there was nothing out of the ordinary. Harrigan surrendered to police Monday after he learned authorities were searching for him in his native Canada. He told detectives he was in Manhattan Beach, 25 miles from the murder scene, the night of the slayings. After questioning, he was released. Harrigan first met Frykowski in June 1968, and he had gone to the Tate home August 7th to invite him to a party on Saturday, but he did not give the Pole the address. He was too far gone on the trip. He'd never have been able to understand the directions. Frykowski lived at the Tate home with coffee heiress Abigail Gibby Folger, another victim, while the actress was in Europe, and they stayed on after she returned to Hollywood to await the birth of her child. Frykowski was considered by some observers to have been the principal target of the killer or killers. Friends said he was involved with the illicit drug trade, and speculation was that the slaying was somehow related to narcotics. A policeman delivering me smack. This is from Ginger Baker's biography. I was totally fucked up again by then, and at one time I even had a policeman delivering me smack. The guy I was getting my cocaine from in LA was the first person they arrested as a suspect in the Sharon Tate murders because he'd gone up to deliver coke for her party. He phoned me up as soon as he knew they were after him. Fucking hell, man, I've just seen my name on the television. The best thing to do is give yourself up, was my reply. Yeah, but I've got all this coke still. Will you take it off me? Very cheap it was too. Later, he left a message calling himself Ben Franklin and came round to the hotel. I went to see Stevie in his hotel and told him all about it. He was amazed. Ginger, how do you get into these things? He asked.